Now in English, we have the word happiness. Happiness. And sometimes we use it interchangeably with joy. It's not, and I may do that even here, but the word happiness says something here because it's revealing something, because the word happiness is linked to a root word, hap. Now you say, okay, but what does that mean? Hap, like in it just happened to happen, happenstance, a happening, haphazard, hapless, hap, you know what it means? Luck. So we say happiness is actually linked to luck or chance happenings, things that happen to happen. And that's how much of the world sees joy or happiness. It's based on what happens to you. If it happens to me, then I get all sorts of money, I'll be rich, I'm happy. You happen to be successful in the world, then I'll be happy. If I happened to find the right one and get married, I'll be happy. Even as believers, this is a view that's in our flesh. It's an error that joy is linked to your circumstance. Of course we want nice circumstances. Of course you get it's nicer than not having that, but that's not the secret of joy. If my circumstances can change, I can be joyful. I get the job, I have joy. If I get this, I get the ministry, I have joy. This idea is actually linked to the lack of joy, not joy. You see, because if you're always saying, if I get this, I'll be happy, what you're saying is, I am not happy now, and my happiness is dependent on getting on the other side of the fence where the grass is always greener. It comes from the garden. Here they're the garden, and there's no garden that's greener than the garden that God gave, and yet they were looking for what they didn't have. But in Hebrew, the words are different for joy. And it's also revealing, revelation. The word for joy, one of the words for joy is gil. Say it. You know when he says, shout for joy, rejoice, daughter of Zion. Gili, gili, rejoice. Another word is simcha. Try it. Means joy, but it also means, gil means joy, but it also means rejoice. Simcha means joy, but also means rejoice. The third word is the word sason. Try it. Sounds like a fashion designer, but it's from Hebrew. Sason means joy, but it also means rejoicing. Now note how different that is from our English word happiness. Happiness based on if it happens, I can be happy, but I can have joy. But here it's not about that. Each one in some way is linked to a verb, or is it rejoicing? Rejoice. So you see in English, it's just a noun, happiness. So I have to get, if it's a noun, it's a thing I have to just get, or I don't have, or I have. But in Hebrew, it's linked to a verb, meaning it's something I can do. If I can do it, I can choose it. If I can do it, I can choose it, I can have it at all times. In some way. In some way. That means I can start rejoicing right now. I can have joy right now. Because it's not just joy, it's not that it's going to happen. I can rejoice, and then it already is there. Philippians 4, turn to Philippians 4 for a moment. What Paul said near the end of his life, he is in jail when he said it. Philippians, at the end of his life, he writes really the secrets, not only of emotional health, it's a whole chapter. Philippians 4 is amazing. You want emotional health, you want well-being in your heart and emotions, it's all there. But here, one verse from it, verse 11. Not that I speak from want, meaning not that I speak from not having. For I have learned to be content in whatever circumstances I am. I know how to get along with humble means. I also know how to live in prosperity. In any and every circumstance, I have learned the secret of being filled and going hungry, both of having abundance and suffering needs. And then he adds, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Now, this is the same person who said, rejoice always. Now he's saying, I have learned the secret of being content in all things. I have learned it. Now, you say, well, this is Paul speaking. Paul is saying this in prison. So how much more powerful is it? He's in prison and he's saying, I've learned the secret of being content in all things. And he's the same one who says, rejoice always. And he didn't say, I've learned how to make a lot of money. I've learned how to be great at ministry. I've learned how to do all that. He didn't say that. He said, I didn't say I've learned how to confess whatever I want, and therefore I'm not in prison anymore because I confessed it. That's not what he said. He's in prison. He said, I have learned the secret of being content in all things. He didn't say I learned how to change the circumstance. He said, I learned how to be content within it. I've learned it, meaning I didn't know it before. Paul was saying I had to learn it, and we have to learn it too. I took time, is what he's saying, because I had to learn it. It was not a matter, joy isn't a matter of, hey, I just got this, or I just happen to be a joyful person. I mean, some people seem to be a little bit more, more easily rejoicing or enjoy. Other people, no, there's different natures, but it doesn't matter. I'm not naturally joyful. It doesn't matter. The good news is joy can be learned. Joy can be practiced. You see, you're a disciple. Paul was a disciple. You're a disciple if you're born again. A disciple in Hebrew, the word is talmidim. It means you are a learner. You're to be learning what you didn't know before. And one of the things a disciple is to learn is joy.
To find out how you can receive more of Jonathan's teachings, to receive special free gifts, or get in touch, go to hopeoftheworld.org or call toll-free 1-800-YESHUA-1. That's hopeoftheworld.org or call 1-800-YESHUA-1. That's 1-800-937-4821. You can also get more at Jonathan Cahn's Facebook page or write us direct at Hope of the World, Box 1111, Lodi, New Jersey 07644, USA. Hope of the World is dedicated to the goal of spreading God's Word and salvation to every land and people. We do this by spreading the Word throughout the world and sponsoring compassion projects to the most poor and needy around the earth. To get in touch or have a part in God's work, just write to Hope of the World, Box 1111, Lodi, New Jersey 07644, USA. Or go to hopeoftheworld.org or call 1-800-YESHUA-1. That's 1-800-937-4821.